To all my educator friends, this is Kyle with Sydney with your two-minute drill. Today, I'm going to be discussing a very heavily requested topic, which is a best practice video library within the Sydney platform. Now, can you imagine about adding fidelity to some of your initiatives throughout your districts or throughout your campuses with the best practice video library, either your new teachers or your English department or your math department? Now, I noticed a lot of y'all have tried to take those steps by uploading videos up to YouTube or having those videos on your campus website. But what if I could tell you can alleviate some of those steps, really making it easier for your users to access some of those best practices? Simply going to the Sydney app, going to the best practice library tab, and then you have access to really build out your best practice video library, however which way that you choose. As you can see on the left-hand side, we have our different categories that you can select. Of course, you can categorize these and customize these however which way that you choose. Now, of course, about uploading videos to the best practice video library, the good thing is that not everyone can upload video to the best practice library to really have that certain prestige to these videos. So you want to delegate that role to a person within your Sydney account. But to do so, it's very simple and easy. Of course, you can upload your title here, but you can, of course, select your different category, either a subject or via topic. So my friends, there has been a lot of talk, like I said, about adding best practice video libraries, especially for certain departments, certain initiatives. And can you imagine of how easy this could be for some of your new teachers, some of your veteran teachers as well, by highlighting some of their best practices and really sharing that throughout the district. So once again, my friends, this is Kyle with your 2-minute drill. I want to thank y'all. Please stay tuned for next week's episode. What is up, Corey Camp? What's happening? What's going on?
Hey, Kyle. Good morning. I had to make sure I was not on mute. I have like double mute buttons here. Good morning. How are you? That was a great 2-minute drill. I love our library feature. It's a pretty awesome tool, especially this year, right now where we are, where we have a lot of consumption that needs to happen. We need it to be timely. I may have been at that Schoology or that Canvas training, but I was in the middle of doing a million other things at that time. And now I'm ready to really kind of take that and apply it. And so that's a great place to store those sessions that we've had for PD on demand, put some tips, start to share teacher videos of how they're structuring things this year and socially distanced and remote instruction. So I love that was our 2-minute drill this morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And I thought it was a great way to start off, especially with the school year, with just helping folks get started with either the face-to-face or, going virtual as well. So storing some of those best practices in the best practice video library can really help those, especially those new teachers coming in. And what can you imagine what a year to start teaching in 2020? So I felt like it was really important to highlight that. And really with this topic of the show, I'm really excited about that. We'll have something kind of geared towards you, a very special guest coming up here very shortly.
Yeah. And again, we are in the middle of our second week of school here. My family chose online learning from the district for this semester. We're committed for the whole semester till winter break. There's no going back. So mainly for consistency here in my home, it was the option that we chose, but things get interesting in the morning when there are 4 people in the house who need to be on a Zoom call and only one, internet connection. But all in all, I've been so impressed with the caliber of instruction that these teachers are providing this year. And these veteran teachers that my kiddos have, some of them have been teaching for 5 to 20 years. they're a new teacher this year as they're taking their instruction online. And so I keep thinking, like, my kindergartner, I sit next to her for a lot of her stuff to help her work through some of the flipped lessons that she has. And I'm so impressed with her kindergarten teacher. And I'm like, man, I want other teachers that I've worked with, other kindergarten teachers and early childhood teachers, to be able to see these great examples. And so I just keep thinking, man, how awesome would it be to be able to put that in a library and let this teacher share out the things that are working and the things that aren't working. And just a great way to support teachers this year, because we're all in it together. So yeah. It's been busy this past week. I've been working with a lot of universities, a lot of schools and organizations as they're getting started this year, as schools coming back into session and they're preparing for supporting their staff, and as teachers are looking to how they can really maximize their time this year, and not only do a great job, but also constantly be reflective so they can constantly iterate. So it's been exciting. It's been energizing for me to see the amount of commitment and passion from all the educators I've gotten to work with this past week. So
yeah, it's been a really busy week for us here at Sydney, especially kicking some folks off and having a conversation off camera. Corey, you were just saying that you were kind of living and dreaming Sydney, dreaming in the Sydney huddle. So that's our commitment here at Sydney. So we're really excited. We are so committed. So we're really excited about kicking them off.
I dreamt that we lived in a Sydney account, and I was reprimanding one of my kids, and I was like, go to your huddle. So yeah, when I was a special education teacher, I had dreams about like IEPs chasing me when IEP time was like big, and we had several ARDs coming up. And so I definitely live and dream my work. So yeah, between that and the chickens, it's been busy. It has been a busy few weeks. So well, Kyle, I think we should introduce our guest for today. I'm so excited. As you mentioned, this library is going to be really helpful for any new teachers. And we're going to talk a little bit about those new teachers today.
Yes, definitely. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce a very special guest, Dr. Deidrea Stevens from Impact Teaching, Training, and Leadership Development. She is always enthusiastic, very great. And here she goes, Dr. Deidrea Stevens, without further ado.
Hi, Deidrea. How are you?
Well, I am doing well. I can't complain.
I feel you.
That is great. We're so excited to have you on our What's Up Wednesday show. And notice that you have your own kind of podcast as well, reaching out with your Impact Teacher Training Leadership Development consulting. So I want to ask you, for one, just starting off, especially with 2020 this year, can you tell us a little bit more about your EntryLevel Superstar?
Absolutely. Let's go. So EntryLevel Superstar, actually, I have a great passion for high need schools. A lot of my experience came from schools that were predominantly low socioeconomic families, predominantly minority families, and I have a great passion and I'm grateful to be able to have worked in those environments. But we have received some of the greatest professional development, and I am a conglomeration of all of those things. So EntryLevel Superstar birthed from me actually interviewing a new teacher, and asking her to help me understand how did you feel about this year and the professional development you received? And her statement to me was, I can't explain it. So she said, I felt like my district gave me the professional development they wanted me to have, but not the professional development I needed. And that, I'm gonna just sit there right there.
Yeah. Mic drop. That's powerful.
It was powerful. And I really felt like, I was like, what can we do? And so basically EntryLevel Superstar was birthed from that statement. And it is a shortcut and a blueprint for new teachers. And it is added new teacher support for school administrators. So especially in high needs environments, they don't have the time to explain the why behind the what. So you end up going to professional development and you get all this stuff. You go to the PLC, they give you all the lesson plans, but you don't know why you're teaching it. So you get in front of students and you teach what they told you to teach, but you have no connection to it. So that's what EntryLevel Superstar is. I take the time to explain the why behind the what, and I provide new teachers comprehensive support so that they can ask questions about anything. I mean, anything. I have teachers ask me all kinds of questions. So it's really been a joy to launch the online course. And I have 2 cohorts coming up, one for September 21st and another for September 23rd. We just launched the first cohort August 18th, and it's been a joy. Those teachers are awesome. They are awesome.
Oh, and what a great support. And I'm still stuck on that teacher's response as a PD facilitator and as a coordinator at a district who arranged and provided a lot of the PD. I'm kind of reflecting back and saying, I know many times we were making those decisions based off of trends that we saw, and we were like, we think they need this. And if we aren't designing platforms and structures within our professional learning for teachers to ask questions and to have some more ongoing, like this isn't just a standard sit and get and then go, take this and run with it on your own, but we really offer more support, then we lose sight of that, what they need and the ability to be able to provide that to them. I think that's something that we do so good here at CIBME is, every teacher has their private workspace. They're able to reflect and connect with others and have those conversations around, meeting them right where they are. If we're coaching within CIBME or we're doing peer collaboration, not just because of the video, but because of the online spaces and the privacy and security in those, you can build that psychological safety so they are able to ask you any question. Right. And you're more accessible and you can kind of meet them right where they are. Right. And I know as a new teacher, I've been blessed with the ability to be a pretty good teacher just inherently. I don't know why. I'm like the only teacher in my family, but it makes sense to me, some of the moves, but they were not intentional in the beginning. And so when I got feedback about you did a great job differentiating or scaffolding, I was still like, great. I have no idea how to repeat that or why that's important or, I would just nod my head and be like, okay, so I'm just going to do this exact lesson exactly the same. Like, I need the kids to respond the same and everything. So I think that is just so important for new teachers to be able to see the why. We know we've got to start with why. So being able to take some time and offer some additional support throughout those. And I love this, how to transition from a new teacher to a classroom superstar in 60 days. That's something I can commit to as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we have 8 modules that they go through. Actually, the first module is the classroom management module. That one is free. I do it most Wednesdays. They just need to sign up for the classroom management module, but we have 8 modules that we go through. And honestly, I know you are aware of sometimes we provide professional development in isolation. Yes. So we'll have a professional development on I do, we do, you do. One on differentiated instruction, another one on, whatever the strategy is of preference at the time. And so what I do in the online course is to make sure I embed all of those strategies and I model all of those strategies so they know how to do it. And what I tell them is, hey, if you're in the classroom, you're ever in doubt, just think about our course. Think about what you saw me do and do that, so they have they've been asking me some pretty interesting questions.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been asking me I actually have had a teacher who enrolled in the course because they have a lot of questions and they didn't want want to ask all of their questions at school because everyone is experienced. So they didn't want to hold up meetings and they didn't want to appear to, they didn't want the wrong perception to be developed about them. So they enrolled in the course so that I can ask them. And it's really been a blessing because all of the resources that they really need and things that they're looking for, I already have. So I told one of my teachers, hey, think about it this way. You don't have any experience on paper, but now you're connected to me. So now you have 20. You have 20.
Yeah, you've got access to that.
Years now.
Yeah.
So it's been a blessing. It really has.
Well, and I think a couple of things are really powerful about what you've said so far is one, that those teachers not only have a platform to be able to ask those questions. And I remember that really. And every time I start a new position, there's that anxiety around asking questions. I know I need to ask questions because no one expects me to know it all, of course, but can I ask too many questions? Are they going to wonder why they put me in this role if I ask that question? And so it's great to have some peers and some mentors to kind of lean on for that. So I think that's really important. And that's something that districts can do this year. We can set up a collaboration huddle for new teachers or a space for new teachers to be able to ask questions together. And they're all kind of in the same boat, but some are a little further ahead, some are a little bit further behind, and they can support each other in that way as well. But then I think it's also powerful that you mentioned, that isolation piece. As a coach, I often find that that's one of the main things I do is I don't have to start from scratch and say, let's talk about explicit instruction. Let's talk about scaffolding, but I'm really connecting the dots for them and helping them see you don't have to do these 20 things. Really, we've just kind of taught you how to do this one thing, effective instruction, really well through these different approaches that you can use simultaneously and really in tandem together. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Dr. Stevens, tell me a little bit more about classroom management in 2020. Do you have any tips for our viewers? What are those conversations looking like? You've got that first module, which is free. So what are some of the big things for especially new teachers, but really kind of every teacher's a new teacher this year in online environments. And so what tips do you have there?
For classroom management in 2020, what I'm finding is that even more so now, relationship building is very important. I was analyzing or going over a lesson plan with one of my teachers in EntryLevel Superstar, and he on the first day, he was doing the get to know you strategies, doing all those activities. And then the second day, it was like content. And I said, oh, no, no.
Harry Wong says 2 weeks. So
really, and some districts now, they're afraid to do it for 2 weeks because we're going to miss out on that instruction. And you really get that time back as the year progresses. But in any case, this particular teacher was like, we're going to get to know you on the first day. And then second day, we're going straight into curriculum. So I said, let me explain it to you this way. It's like you take a girl out on a date, first date, and then the next night, you take her out on Monday, and then on Tuesday, you're like, let's get married. Let's do it. And I was like, he said, oh. Like, no. But I think that, and this is just teachers overall, when it comes to classroom management, we immediately zoom in on behavior and let me get these students let me get them in control and let me make sure they, are well managed and they do what I ask them to do. But that's not, you skip so many steps when you do that. And that's why I titled my module, It's More Than Behavior, because it is more than behavior. It's about relationship building. And especially now with the disconnect, you're going to have to put in some overtime with that, building relationships with classroom management in 2020. You know, they often misbehave because they don't know you. They don't have any connection to you. A lot of things that students do in the classroom as a teacher is for you, you know, so you have to build those relationships. So I would say that's number one. If you did not do an excellent job at building relationships before, now you're going to have to put that time in building relationships with your students. There's a lot going on that before we could see in the classroom because they were there. You could see the warning signs. You could see a lot. I'm sure with all of these cameras inside the house, you probably can see a lot now.
Yeah.
But those relationships matter, and it is the foundation and groundwork before you're able to build anything. You have to go deep in building relationships with your students. So you actually have to like them. That's number one.
Yeah. That's so true. You know, Deidrea, I used to take on summer school instruction every summer when I was in the classroom, and that was one of the, I know, yeah, that was one of the main, and I always asked for the class of students who, it wasn't because they didn't pass their state assessment, they kind of failed the rest of the year. Maybe they were absent too many days, or they didn't meet all the standards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I always did a survey at the beginning of the year. Tell me why you think you're here. And I left it open, and a huge number of my students responded with, the teacher didn't like me, or I didn't like my teacher. It was amazing. A couple of them would say, I goofed off this year. And these were 8th graders trying to finish summer school to go into 9th grade. But they would, some of them were, I didn't understand the content, but it was amazing how many of those students went back to that relationship with the teacher, and whether or not that made them willing enough to work, or, they felt their teacher didn't like them, and no matter what they did, it wasn't going to be good enough. So why try? So it's powerful. It's heartbreaking to see those things. But then, we talk a little bit about, being a self-advocate, and just kind of understanding how people work, and doing our best no matter what. So, but yeah, that relationship piece has a huge impact. So I love that you're focusing on that with your new teachers as that classroom management piece. It's not just about setting routines and behaviors and controlling. You have no control if you don't have a relationship. So
right. And then there's also, the admin part of what we do. That's also classroom management. It tickles me when I hear people talk about classroom management and then they talk about instruction. It's like two separate conversations.
Right.
It's the same conversation because how you plan your instruction affects the classroom management. That classroom management or planning your instruction, classroom management is included in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talk about those things. And of course, also classroom management in 2020, now you have technology. I mean, we have been begging educators to use technology for the past, I don't know how many years. I'm personally a fan of Sydney, so this technology, I do endorse. But we've been begging educators to switch over and let's go. Let's advance, for years. And so now you have to learn building those relationships and then connecting that technology to building those relationships is important. This is the time to, I understand all the tragedy, but I have really been enjoying watching education revolutionize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah. And kind of leading to that is kind of like no new normal back. It's kind of like no going back. And hopefully we make that change as far as education, really utilizing the technology tools, but really utilizing technology more than ever to build those relationships, right? Especially either if we're going to be in the face-to-face or either it's going to be in that distant learning. So we're excited. We're excited about, we feel the pain of those new teachers. There's new schools coming into this new year, but we're excited about that turn that they can possibly make with utilizing technology now to the future. We want our students to be at the 21st century learning curve, but we also want our teachers and our admins to be at that same learning curve as well when it comes to technology. So I'm excited just about those things that you mentioned, Dr. Stevens, as far as relationships and technology. And of course, tying that all into being an effective teacher in year one. Now, I want to ask as well, what is next? What do you see for us in the near future that's coming up in your eyes?
What is next in terms of?
Yeah, so what is next as far as impact teaching, training and leadership development, and then also with the entry-level superstar as well?
Absolutely. So I'm not at liberty to say everything that we are working on.
Ooh, I love a good secret and a sneak peek. This is fun.
We have some great things on the horizon. We are definitely, planting our feet, and we are here to stay. But I can tell you what's next in terms of our mission. We are heavily looking at or observing high need schools. And we want to make sure that students who are in high need schools have high quality teachers. And new teachers is where we are getting our start. So we are working and really pushing EntryLevel Superstar. You can look for more cohorts to open. For some of the principals, we are discussing creating a cohort specifically for their school. So that is what we are working on right now. We want to affect as many new teachers as possible. I always tell them, hey, look, I was a superstar year one. I was a superstar year one, but it wasn't because I was born that way. It was because I had the best support ever. I was able to watch, and it wasn't that someone just took me to the side and said, hey, you do this and that. It was that I was surrounded by veteran teachers who could provide, or I could go watch and see what they were doing and do what they were doing. And so we're giving that same opportunity to new teachers right now. That's what we're doing. We're talking about PLCs, lesson planning, all that, so that they understand the why behind the what. And so that is what we are doing right now. We are in an aggressive, we're taking an aggressive stance to make sure that our students, we understand teachers they have the greatest impact, on our students. And we don't want them to leave. We don't want them to be in the 44% that leaves every, 5 years. You have at least 44%. They leave and they go do something else because they really need someone to help and to guide them. So that's what's next for us, is being aggressive about getting into those high need schools, helping those principals. My prayers are with you in those high need schools, but helping them to develop some dynamic superstar teachers so that we can give our students quality teachers.
I love that. And that's a powerful mission, and definitely one that we can all get behind and support. And I know here at SIDME, we're looking forward to supporting that mission with you, and you're all about it. Yes. Well, go
and
Kyle.
when we did drop the link to as well, if you want to get in contact with entry-level superstars, please reach out to Dr. Deidrea Stevens. She's definitely willing to help and excel that program as well. So we are excited, especially going to this year, what you displayed. I know Corey is too as well. So I don't know, Corey, if you have anything else to chime in.
Yeah, no, I just applaud all of your effort, and it sounds like an amazing course and cohort opportunity for new teachers. So I'll definitely be directing some folks your way. We're so excited to have you in the SIDME family, Dr. Stevens.
And let me add, I love being in the SIDME family. Listen, if you are a principal, my observation and feedback totally changed. I have been using SIDME for, I don't know how, I don't even, I'm sure it hasn't been that long, but I've been talking to you guys so long, it seems like it's been that long, right? But it has totally changed the way that I provide feedback, and it helped to expedite the growth process of my teachers. So, you know, if you're a principal, definitely do that. And as far as Entry-Level Superstar is concerned, I want you to know also that this is not a recording. So when you enroll in Entry-Level Superstar, we understand that sometimes, you know, they get the recordings, especially in alt cert programs. Sometimes, you know, you have the recording and you're expected to know and understand, but sometimes you need that hands-on help. And that's what Entry-Level Superstar is. We do face-to-face. We're talking to you. We're guiding you with our mouths, not with the recording.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And to the point of, it really does, like, it totally flipped the script on my feedback cycles and made me better at giving feedback, partly because I could see everything in those timestamped comments. And I was like, oh man, like, I can be overwhelming sometime as a coach.
Yeah.
It's something I have to always, every time I'm checking that whenever I'm going to give feedback, because I see this and I see that, and I need to always refocus my feedback to that goal that we're working on. And so I'll find myself removing things or changing things from a statement to more of a reflective prompt and letting them drive the process. And so, and then the ability for like, especially a new teacher, but really anyone, to be able to see themselves in action and not just rely on, when I came in on Tuesday and I watched your lesson, here's what I saw. What do you remember? That is just transformational. So I love that you saw that and noticed that, because I tell people the same thing. It really did change the game for me. And it's why I'm such a big believer. So
it does change the game. I'll tell you just a little testimonial. I know you're trying to get off, and I hope people
we're fine.
But I had a teacher. I started, this was when I first started, right, with Sydney. So the teacher went and they watched their video, right? And then by the time they came to my office, and that's why I love it, is because by the time you come to me, I don't have to tell you anything, okay? Mm-hmm. My job changes from providing you with what you need to change to listening to you and helping to guide you and narrow your focus. Like that's literally what happens. So I had a teacher to come to my office after watching the video, and she was so upset. And she said, "I'm killing kids." Then I'm so upset. She said, I'm teaching and what I'm doing, I'm killing kids in here.
You know, I have to say, my favorite is that after the first time a teacher or an admin sees themselves on video, that kind of like, aha, that first thing that they come to. Yeah, I love that first conversation after someone's actually watched themselves on video.
So if you're not a part of the Sydney family, you really do need to join the Sydney family. It does revolutionize the way you provide feedback to your teachers. It really helps to expedite the process.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens. Well, we'll definitely be taking that clip and sharing that out. But we definitely
kids, one video at a time. That's what we do here at Sydney.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So once again, Dr. Stevens, we want to thank you for one, taking the time and joining us on What's Up Wednesdays. And like I said, we do have that information for the folks that do want to get in contact with Dr. Deidrea Stevens. Please do so. And as well, if you want to get in contact with us at Sydney, please do so as well. So finishing up, Corey, I don't know if you have any other questions.
I mean, Deidrea, we're going to have to find some more time to connect and collaborate, because I feel like you and I really, really are on the same page. So I'm so excited. Kyle, thank you so much for bringing Dr. Stevens on the What's Up Wednesday show today, for inviting her. And we'll have you back again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
So I might talk to you about being on the Coach Replay show. I think you and I could have some good conversations there too. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Stevens, for joining us today, and have a great rest of your week.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Our shout outs. We got two major shout outs today, Kyle. First is Salem State University. Just a big shout out. I worked with some of the instructors and supervisors and other faculty members. This week, we kind of got everyone introduced to SIBME as they're considering this. They're doing a pilot this year, and how this might impact not just their work as a result of socially distanced and remote instruction that their students are having to do in the field and during practicum, but also as a tool to just better empower their students even before their practicum. So some instructors had some really great ideas. We just kind of introduced the platform to them, talked a little bit about the different ways you can share not just video, but other artifacts and provide some specific feedback and use some observation tools to do focused analysis and guided noticing. And so I've just thoroughly enjoyed working with Salem State University and getting them up and running. And so welcome to the family, Salem State. I look forward to continuing to work with y'all this year. And then Kyle has, I think, the most important shout out of all today.
Oh, yes. You touched on that earlier, Corey, with this year. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran teacher, it's kind of like a new teacher year for you starting off as well, especially going virtual or face-to-face, learning new things. So I just want to give a shout out to all the educators starting off this school year, getting ready to start off, or if you already start off, you got this. You got this for this school year to really make that impact and keep those things going. So I'm giving the shout out to y'all and to really uplift y'all, and our prayers are with you this school year.
We are thinking of you and praying for you and laughing at all the parodies of the ways that we're just kind of processing the experiences we're having this year. There's been quite a few that I have seen through my Facebook feed. There's one that one of our colleagues sent to me. I need to repost it today, but it was kind of the parody of life as a mom with the kids doing remote instruction. And it's been interesting. My husband has dove into his first year of teaching kindergarten. So while I'm doing a lot of my sessions, he's sitting next to our kindergartner. He never wanted to be a teacher, but he is this year. So whether he wants to or not. So he's learning phonics and skywriting and all of that stuff. But yeah, we know that this is a big year for everyone, for our students, for our teachers, for those who are supporting teachers, for our parents, and you are all educators in some way or another. My kids have been teaching others how to use technology, and so just you got this. We're all going to work in this together. We are here at SIBME if you need any support. We've got our whole virtual coaching team here as well. I'm picking off some things called community roundtables. I'll talk more about that next week, but those will be for SIBME family members and others to talk a little bit about how we can use features to really support the work we're doing right now. So shout out to all our educators.
Shout out.
All right, Kyle. Well, we will see everyone next week. I'm so excited. I'm just so rejuvenated from Dr. Stevens. I mean, that was like an extra cup of coffee in my cup this morning. So excited about that and all the work that she's doing.
Definitely. We are excited.
All right. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Adios.